Monster City Madhouse, a year-round online store full of Halloween and classic horror shirts, with an emphasis on the vintage look. Use code SAVE10 for 10% off your order. MonsterCityMadhouse.com. Free shipping and financing's available. Hey guys, before we get started, I probably should have included this in the episode, but it didn't occur to me until after the episode. This episode, it gets a little wild. There's some graphic true crime, some blood, some guts, some stuff not really suitable for kids. So, if you're under 18, definitely skip this one, go back and listen to a previous episode. But yeah, just heads up, this one gets a little rough, and I want to give you guys a heads up before we get started. Welcome back to Southern Ghost Stories, where we dig into the forgotten corners of true crime, history, and the things that still go bump in the night. I'm your host, the American historian, Alan Searcy, and today we're heading back to the 1950s in Idaho for a story that's equal parts brutal crime, swift justice, and a lingering ghost story. This is a tale of Raymond Snowden, the man newspapers called Idaho's Jack the Ripper, the last person ever to be hanged at the Old Idaho State Penitentiary, and maybe the reason some folks swear the old prison walls still whisper. But first, I want to remind you guys, come out and see me at Cincinnati, March 20th through the 22nd. Horror Hounds, a big horror convention. I'll be signing books and trying to watch NCAA basketball tournament in the Southern Ghost Stories booth. So y'all come by and say hello. It's going to be a really good time. Skeet Ulrich, Matthew Lillard, I think they're the headliners. A whole bunch of really cool actors and pro wrestlers. It's going to be a really cool show. Don't forget, April 30th, the new book drops. Pistols at Red River, the Andrew Jackson dueling story. There's actually 2 duels in the book. So you buy one duel, get one free. Anyway, you guys ready? Grab your coffee or something stronger, because this one gets pretty dark. So let's get into it. So, picture Boise, Idaho, in the fall of 1956. It's a quiet town. Post-war booms winding down. People hitting the bars after work. On September 22nd, a Saturday night, 48-year-old Cora Lucyle Dean decides she needs a night out. Cora was a widow, mother of 2. She was originally from Pasadena, California. She'd only moved to Idaho a few months earlier, maybe looking for a fresh start after losing her husband. She was feeling down, so she drove to the Hi-Ho Club in nearby Garden City. A spot with drinks, slot machines, dancing, the usual. So there she meets Raymond Allen Snowden. He's 34, born back in 1921 in New England, up in Massachusetts. He was a journeyman laborer who'd bounced around from town to town looking for work. No deep roots, just drifting. That night, he's been bar hopping with a buddy, playing pool, knocking back a few beers, and witnesses see him chatting with Cora. They dance a little bit. They leave the club together around closing time. Well, what happens next is where the story gets really ugly. They argue over a cab fare, according to Snowden later. Cora wants to get back to Boise. He doesn't want to pay. Words fly, maybe a shove or a slap. Snowden claims she kneed him or swung at him. In a rage, he pulls out a small pocket knife, blade just over 2 inches. He slashed her throat. Then he doesn't stop. He stabs her repeatedly, reports say 29 to 35 times, in the face, neck, body. He severs her spinal cord, cuts away clothing. It's frenzied, overkill. No sexual assault, but the violence is savage enough that papers later dub him Idaho's Jack the Ripper, even though he wasn't technically a serial killer. Cora's body is found early the next morning by a paperboy, lying near a pickup truck outside of business. Her purse is gone. Snowden, he takes her wallet, hitches a ride to Boise, changes clothes at a bowling alley, dumps the knife in the sewer, tosses the wallet, and tries his best to act normal. But he doesn't get far. Police track him down fast. Witnesses from the club, blood on his shoes. He confesses the same day. That single night changed everything for two families and for Idaho's justice system. Snowden's case, it moved lightning fast by today's standards. No endless pretrial motions, no years on death row. He was arraigned just 2 days after the murder, on September 24th, 1956, in Ada County District Clerk. At first, on October 5th, he entered a not guilty plea, probably on his lawyer's advice. But 2 weeks later, on October 18th, exactly 1 month after the killing, he switched it to guilty. That changed everything. Under Idaho law at the time, when someone pleads guilty to murder, the judge still has to hold a hearing to figure out the degree, first or second, and whether there are mitigating factors that might spare the death penalty or drop it to life. Judge Oliver Cole set the hearing for October 23, 1956. It wasn't a full jury trial. It was more like an evidentiary proceeding in front of the bench. Prosecutors brought in police officers who detailed the confession. Snowden admitted he'd given Cora an ultimatum: rape or death, then slashing her throat when she fought back. They played up his calm demeanor afterward, hitching a ride, changing clothes at a bowling alley, dumping the knife in the sewer, tossing the wallet, even going back to his hotel to clean up like nothing happened. Witnesses from the Hi-Ho Club described the flirting, the dancing, the argument outside. No prior bad blood, just a sudden, explosive rage. Then came the autopsy testimony, and this is where it got really grim. The pathologist laid out the horror. One deep slash at severed her spinal cord. Her voice box was cut out, silencing any screams. 29-35 stabs, I mentioned that earlier. Clothing sliced away in places. Wounds that suggested overkill, frenzy, maybe even sadism. He was Idaho's Jack the Ripper. Well, on October 26, 1956, just 3 days after the hearing, Judge Kolsch ruled first-degree murder. Willful, deliberate, premeditated with malice aforethought. The sustained nature of the stabbing, the deliberate pull of the knife after the initial shove, the covering of tracks afterward, all pointed to intent formed in those seconds of rage. He sentenced Snowden to hang. But Idaho law gave automatic appeal rights in capital cases, so his lawyer filed a notion appeal right away and stalled the execution. Well, the Idaho Supreme Court took it up in 1957, and in their July 24th opinion, they unanimously shot down every argument. Snowden's team claimed no malice aforethought, that it was manslaughter at worst, impulsive, not planned. But the justices disagreed pretty hard. They cited precedent. Premeditation doesn't need days or weeks. It can form in an instant if the killer reflects, even briefly, on the act. Here, after the first slash, Snowden didn't stop. He kept stabbing, severed the spinal cord deliberately, mutilated the body. That wasn't impulse. That was choice after choice. The hiding of the evidence, the calm cleanup, clear signs of deliberation. No error in the trial court's findings. No abuse of discretion on the death sentence. No stage from the governor. He wouldn't commute the sentence. Execution locked in for October 18th, 1957, almost exactly a year after the murder. In 1950s Idaho, justice was swift, and for a crime this savage, mercy was in short supply. The Old Idaho State Penitentiary in Boise had a new gallows room built in the cell house number 5 just a few years earlier, expecting more use than it got. Snowden would be the only one to drop through that trapdoor. Just before midnight on October 17th, guards escorted him in. Witnesses included officials, a chaplain, and reportedly some of Cora Dean's family. Snowden's calm. The chaplain later says he was the calmest person there. He faced away from the viewers. At 12:05 on the 18th, the trap springs. but the drop doesn't break his neck like it's supposed to. The rope's length or knot is off. Instead, he strangles slowly, gasping, struggling for about 15 minutes. Death was pronounced at 12:20. Inmates in nearby cells reportedly banged on the walls in protest as this grim spectacle dragged on. Well, it was Idaho's last hanging. The state later moved to lethal injection when it reinstated capital punishment, and it was the final execution at that old prison. Snowden's body went to an unmarked grave in the prison cemetery. Prisoner 9509, gone at 35. The case, it faded from the headlines, but the old Idaho prison just wouldn't let it go. Closed in 1973, it became a historic site and a tourist spot. People take tours. They hear the stories. Well, eventually the ghost stories started. Visitors, they felt a heaviness in the gallows room. Some reported disembodied voices, whispers, laughter, scratches. Some claimed they were even touched. Paranormal teams, including ones from TV shows like Ghost Adventures, they investigated and claimed EVPs, strange shadows, equipment glitches right there in that death chamber. Many pinned it on Snowden. The botched, awful, painful end left unfinished business there. And God say his spirit roams the corridors, cell house number 5 especially. And whether you believe in ghosts or not, the place has that lingering chill. It's like the violence never fully left. Cora Dean rests in Cloverdale Memorial Park in Boise, a widow looking for a night out, remembered now mostly through this tragedy. Left children behind. It's just awful. So what do we take from Raymond Snowden's story? A reminder how fast things can spiral. Alcohol, rejection, a knife in the pocket, a look at 1950s justice, swift, no nonsense, capital punishment without decades of appeals, and the way violence echoes in courtrooms, in prison walls, maybe even in the air of old prisons. So I did a Q&A, I guess it was last week, and I've got some questions, and someone asked me the other day, this was, wasn't sent into Facebook or Instagram, and like I mentioned earlier, if you want me to answer your questions, send them to Southern Ghost Stories Facebook or Instagram. Someone asked me, why is it that they always call the ghost of a lady like a lady in white, or like a lady in gray, lady in black, like you never see like a lady in red? And I don't really know. It's something I've talked to other investigators about. I mean, I've heard of a lady in gray at Rosemont in Gallatin, Tennessee. They say there's a lady who wears a blue dress at the Seelbach Hotel. So it's kind of a weird thing. I guess, if you're a lady and something happens to you and you die suddenly and you don't go to the light, maybe you just pick the color of your favorite dress. I don't really know why they appear in the color they do. I guess white, I don't know. Like if a ghost appears at night, you would see the white, you would see the glow. So I don't really know. It's an interesting subject. I was talking about someone I met at an event, and I kind of wanted to bring it up here because I'm asking you guys to send in the questions and everything. So, don't forget, April 30th, Pistols at Red River, Andrew Jackson dueling story comes out. Really excited for that one. I told you guys 2 duels for the price of 1. His buddy's getting on it, and everybody's dueling in Nashville back in 1806. Horror Hound, Cincinnati, Ohio, March 20th through the 22nd. I'll be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, signing books, talking to people, telling spooky stories. I'll be trying to watch some basketball games. March Madness is going on. I've been kicking around. I have something, I hate to really say it, but I have a book about Cincinnati coming out later this year. It's still kind of, I'm probably halfway through it, but it will be done by the summertime. So it's more than halfway to being done. But it's something I found really interesting. It's more true crime, but still it's a weird, wild tale. It took place in Cincinnati. I look forward to unveiling that later this year. So thanks for sticking with me through this dark chapter of Idaho history. I know it's Southern Ghost Stories. Idaho is more northwest. It's not in the south, but still, If you guys have been listening for a while, I do stuff. I mean, I had a story in Toronto, I guess about a month ago. So if it's weird and wild, that's why I like, it's my playground. That's where I like to hang out and play in. So if you ever been Boise, Idaho, the old Idaho prison, it's open for tours. Daytime, of course, not at night. So you can see the gallows room for yourself. It's still open. I told you guys I do tours. Just don't go alone at night. And if you enjoyed this episode, drop a review, share it. I mentioned earlier, hit me up on Southern Ghost Stories, Facebook, Instagram. I'm also on Twitter. You can look me up at ATO Allen. The ATO thing, it's a long story, but yeah, at ATO Allen. I'm on there. I have ghost stories on Twitter or X. Sorry, I'm an old man. I call it Twitter. It's now X, but yeah, I'm on there. Southern Ghost Stories, Facebook, Instagram. Hit me up. Submit your ghost stories. Send me your questions. Stuff on true crime. I'm always here. I'm always listening, and I'll do another Q&A here, probably another month or so. So until next time, I'll see you guys down the road, and I'll see you guys in Cincinnati in a few weeks. Check out the exclusive shirts from Monster City Madhouse, Gravestone, Rocktober, and Val Halloween. All that and much more at monstercitymadhouse.com.